our dear viewers, and welcome to another episode of your daily show Achievements. I am your host Abdul Latif, and I have with me my colleague Fatma. Good evening, Fatma.
Good evening, Abdul Latif, and good evening, dear viewers. As he just mentioned, we're in your show Achievements on KTV2. We talk about different topics and different segments every time with new guests. So stay tuned after this report.
Has done. Your most important accomplishments are a very important way for you to measure your success. Colleagues, competitors, and the general public can look at a person's achievements to figure out how successful they are. Most of the time, putting in a lot of work pays off. Most people think a successful life is one of a lot of things to be proud of. When you finish a task, you win over problems or other people. Achieve means to work together to reach a hard and challenging goal. Everyone should be ready to help out and work together if they need to. There are many ways to reach your goal, but in the end, it's up to you to decide how it will pay out in your life. In their careers, some people want to get rich and will be well known. Some people think that even small victories are reasons to have a party. We're all different, so we all have our own thoughts on everything. In the end, though, everyone wants to be happy, and everything you do in life will help you to get closer to that ultimate goal.
Our dear viewers, tonight we're having with us one of the bravest stories that we'll hear today with us is Noura Al-Hnaidi. Used to be a successful volleyball player, and yet she has ups and downs on her journey, and volleyball helped her to overcome and defeat cancer. And today we're going to hear more about it and everything from her. Please welcome with us the warrior, Miss Noura Al-Hnaidi. Welcome to the series of Achievements.
Thank you for having me.
It's our pleasure to have you.
It's really nice to have you here, Noura, with us, and welcome. And just before we start, I just wanted to say that I think that your story it's really wonderful. And but at first, Noura, we want to know about your early steps in this journey.
My early steps started in school. When I was about 6 years old, I watched the movie Space Jam, and it was my dream to become a professional basketball player. So I'd go down to the garden and just practice and then hit the ball, and I was this tall. Until I grew older and was able to join the basketball team in school. And I was, wow, I'm really good at this. And I didn't realize how gifted I was. In sports in general, I had really good hand-eye coordination, and I shined. Like, I was way ahead of all the girls on the team just because I was practicing since I was about 6 years old. So during the off season, we had tryouts for volleyball. I was like, let me try. I was about 12 at the time. And luckily, the coach at that time was an ex-Bulgarian coach, a volleyball player. She took me in and taught me everything that I know. And I realized I was more gifted as a volleyball player than I was as a basketball player. And my passion for sports in general was growing. I had swimming, which was something that was essential since I was also really at a young age. And my love for sports was growing even more and more. But volleyball was different.
You found this connection with the volleyball that you didn't find in any other sports?
No. Like, I wanted to be better at it. I wanted to push myself just because I wanted to be the best. And I wanted to be remembered as the best.
Of course, I think this is one of the most important things to actually focus on, Abdul Latif, is actually find your passion. If you find something that you're passionate about, just go for it, work really hard, and you will achieve it. And I think this is very interesting because a lot of people usually, they don't have a lot of interest in sports in general, but just in a specific sport. But you had a lot of different sports, basketball, volleyball, and even swimming.
Yeah.
So what really got you into sport? Are you from an athlete family? Are your family interested in sport, or was it just you?
It started with my mother. She was an ex-volleyball player and swimmer, and she made sure that we were keen on sports. I was lucky that I had that support from her, and that she made sure that we had it in us. It was embedded in us, and it taught us more than just sports. It taught us teamwork, it taught us dedication, it taught us how to be disciplined. There was a lot more in it than just playing with a ball or hitting a ball or running laps or winning a race. It was building character more than anything. And the other lucky thing I think I'm thankful for is genetics. My family were known for sports. They were known that they were the athletes, and all of us were in the same school. So even the competing schools were like, okay, yeah, this family.
Or they're known for their sports
we're
and they're
known
very
for
active.
sports, and each one of us was specialized in a sport.
Of course.
So not all of you in volleyball.
We were all in volleyball, basketball, football, every sport there was, but each one of us, like one of the girls would be volleyball, one basketball, one football. But we were good at every single one.
Of course, I think, Abdul Latif, it's very important for
It
the
is, yes.
home background to actually be athletic or interested in sports that really help achieve with their kids and the family itself.
It also motivates you to grow more with your sports.
We became very competitive. We became competitive within each other. And it was fun because we'd go and like, I beat you and I did this and I did that.
I
And
got the better score.
yeah.
Yes.
But when it came to us as a team, the way we worked as a team was we were so cohesive. We knew, we understood each other. So I'm thankful for that. I'm thankful for the competition, and I'm thankful for having them as a support system.
Of course, I think family support and friend support is very important in all areas of life. And when it comes to your first game, can you tell us about that?
Oh, yes. My first ever school game. I think I was nervous, and I was the youngest player on the team. And as a starting player, I'm like, I just hope I don't mess up. And all I didn't want to do was not get the serve over the net. I think
this is the most stressful part for a lot of players.
Yes.
To actually get the ball over the net. It can be very hard, especially if you're starting the game.
Yeah, and our coach at the time had a punishment. For every time you miss, you had to get 10 serves in a row. For every time you miss a serve, you start from 0 and do 10 push-ups. I'm very thankful for that because now I'm known for my serves. And this is something that, like, almost 20 years later, I'm still known for the girl with the serves, with the powerful serves, just because I did not want to miss that one serve at 9 or 8 and start from 0. So that first game, I didn't miss the serve. I made it over. I had minimum mistakes. So I guess it was a good first game. I think we lost, but it made me want to do better.
Of course, I think it's very important, especially after you fail. Sometimes you have to push through, work out harder, practice more, and to actually achieve more. If you are very persistent in the game and in the workout, you'll eventually become a champion or win a lot of games. I think that's very important.
And she
Yes.
did. And she did. You didn't only have some championships in Kuwait, even also outside Kuwait, right?
Yes.
Can you tell us about what is your favorite championship?
Yeah, it was the first women's GCC volleyball tournament, and it was held in Kuwait,
When?
2010, if I'm not mistaken.
2010.
And I worked for almost a year. I didn't miss a practice. I was balancing school, like university and volleyball. And the satisfaction of that tournament, coming in second place for a freshly made team. Like the Kuwaiti team was just established, it was new compared to the other teams. We managed to come in second place. We lost one game to a team that has been there for almost 5 years. So it was a good tournament, and I'll never forget it.
Of course, I think sometimes even if you don't win at championships or games, sometimes you gain a lot of friends in the opponent teams. And I think just exchanging this kind of friendship and values when you have the same interest in sports, it's just amazing.
From 2010, we're still in connection with the players that we met in that tournament. Like, we still ask about each other. Most of us stopped playing because we're a lot older right now, and now
You got a lot of different interests in life.
Yes.
Of course, sometimes you can get distracted from these kind of sports, especially that you have different interests, and sometimes you get busy with work. It can be very hard to manage time.
Yes, but it is a good way to build friendships and get to know people.
Of course.
And it's also actually one of the good things in sports, especially that sports that needs teamwork, like football, volleyball. It's actually aims so you can have more connection with the people that you play with.
Yes, yes. Only recently, there was a tournament that I took part in, and it was just for the Filipino women. And they asked for a group of international ladies to come and take part. And I think that was one of the funnest because of how supportive they were of each other and us. And it was just a friendly game, and the way they made it, it was professional and funny, and it was just fun. And it was waking up at 7 a.m. on a Friday to come play volleyball. Like, we didn't want to do that, but
You pushed through, and you
pushed through.
did it, because I think sometimes even waking up very early in the morning for a game can be very exciting. It can be tiring, of course, just thinking about the thought waking up on a Friday morning.
Yeah.
But it's all worth it in the end.
It is. It was fun, and I really enjoyed that tournament.
Of course.
And it was nice to have no pressure games. So
And it's also good for your health when you have these types of, when the thing that you love to do every day almost, and when you have this amazing experience with it, it's something. It's also a sport, so it's also a good physical for your health.
yes, and for me, like, everything is intertwined. Like, even my workouts at the gym is how to improve my volleyball, how to become a better volleyball player, like the practicing the jumping and practicing the strength training, and
With
then
the push-ups also.
the push-ups and the running, and I have to sprint, and I have to be able to do things. So
Of course.
all in all, like, you have to integrate it, and sleep, food, everything comes together, and it is one goal. I may not be playing professionally anymore, but still it's my hobby. It's still something that I still want to become better at, and integrating it into my life is something I feel is really important.
So I have this question. I think usually athletes, they have a favorite player. So who's your favorite player when it comes to volleyball? Is there a specific one, or is there a bunch of people who you look up to?
Sheila Castro. She's a retired Brazilian volleyball player. And the reason why I look up to her is, in volleyball, usually the hitters aren't the best receivers. And she was very well-rounded. And she would get the most points per game. And I'm like, I wish I was just as tall as her, and I could do as much as her. And I look up and I'm like, I can do that. I may not be that tall for a volleyball player, but I can jump. I can do certain things. So the fact that she, as a player, was very well-rounded, it's what I aspired to become, a well-rounded player.
Of course, I think that's a very important point.
Yes.
I think a lot of people usually, when it comes to the Brazilian athlete, she can serve and also catch the ball. It can be very hard sometimes playing different parts in the team, because everyone has their role. So that can be very challenging sometimes to switch the parts, switch the roles for the player.
Yeah.
And you don't need also to be so tall in volleyball. I mean, you can make it up by increase your jumping distance. Yeah.
Yes.
With that also, it will help you.
Yes.
But also, do you have like any other favorite player? Maybe like, let's say, Kuwaiti player?
Kuwaiti player. Girls. Noor al-Najada, she's been the setter of the volleyball team since she was, I think, 12. And she's still the captain. I think she's now the captain of the national team. And I liked her, I really admire her dedication. Like, she's a setter, and she has been so gifted. And someone I really do admire, her dedication, her time that she's given to volleyball. I think she will always be remembered as one of Kuwait's
essential players, of
yes.
course, especially if you take a lot of your time and dedication just to work for the sports and just put all your hours. I think a lot of people really appreciate that kind of effort, especially from you as well. I think your games were amazing and all the dedication you put into the game was really impressive.
And it's also a good thing when you have someone that you look up to.
Yes.
That's really nice, Nora. Welcome back, our viewers. Tonight we are having with us one of the most successful individuals in Kuwait. He is known as the Kuwait national team swimmer, and his achievement is not only in Kuwait but all around the world. Although his age is still young, yet he achieved a lot for himself and for his country. Please welcome with us the Kuwaiti champion and the gold medalist, Mr. Mansour Al-Mansour. Welcome, Mansour, here with us in the show.
Good evening. Thank you for having me over, and thank you for the nice introduction.
It's
You're
our
welcome.
pleasure to have you here in the studios, of course. And we'd like to know, of course, Abdul Latif, how did you begin your journey as a swimmer?
Of course, as a youngster, we all have so much energy, and it's up to the parents to actually direct this energy. So I was a very active young child, and as I said, I was not necessarily getting in trouble, but I was becoming very loud, very outgoing, so my mom had to channel all that energy into something very positive, very beneficial, something that there is a return on investment, something I can build on. Comes in hand whenever we traveled. My mother saw that I actually really in love with water. Whenever we go and travel somewhere, I would wake up early in the morning and by myself go to the swimming pool, the hotel swimming pool, and swim for an hour or two and just meet my family later at the breakfast. So, saying that, my mom took a step to actually enroll me in one of the local swimming teams, and there I learned how to swim. I started building, being aware of competition, and with the right support system, I was able to actually start a very successful swimming career. By 3 months from learning to swim, I became second in Kuwait in a national club national team.
That's really interesting.
Of course, some people would say this is a talent, or maybe it's hard work. I think maybe I was lucky. Okay, yes, there is talent, yes, there is hard work, but it was only a short time. But I think I was in the right time and the right place. But how can you build on that first achievement is where you actually start.
Of course, I think that's a very important point you just mentioned. You were a kid with a lot of energy, and for his mom to realize his passion for swimming and actually enrolling you in a swimming team is very important for parents
It
to
is,
actually pay
definitely.
attention to their kids' talent. And look at you today, you have achieved so much, and we're very proud of your accomplishments.
Alhamdulillah, yes, swimming has become a very big part of my life, just like having another arm or another leg. It became something very, like, part of me. I became swimming. I am swimming, and definitely changed my life to the best.
And since that your mom is one of the reasons that that you are today, that Mansour Al-Mansour is actually one of the world champions in swimming, can you give us more information about your home ground and how it has affected you until today?
I am the oldest of my brothers and sisters. My father was a professional football player. He actually played for the Kuwait national team as well, back in 1984. So we have an athletic family. So I got my athletic genes from my father, and I think I got my strong mind and my will from my mother. And being a youngster with all that, you have to be directed, you have to be supported, you have to be taught.
Yeah.
So what's important for any champion or any successful person is the home base, the first circle, where you are grown. And if you don't have the right support system, you can never stand on your feet. Like we say, one hand doesn't clap, as we say in Kuwaiti, but it is very true. that if you don't have the support system, I don't think you can stand on your feet. So I owe all my success to my family.
You are, and especially when you have the good combination that you have the athletic soul from your father, and as you said, the good mindset from your mom.
That's very important, but this is what you get genetically or inherits, but what is developed inside the first circle? You're talking about code of ethics, the champion code of ethics, which is competitive, being competitive, honest competition, you know, being loyal, disciplined, you know, just all these code of ethics that actually build any person to be the best version of themselves.
Of course, and you mentioned earlier about support. I think support is very important from family members and friends. And earlier we were watching some of the championships that you participated in. Were your family a part of that championship? Were they there to support you?
As actually, my family is known to be in every competition, alhamdulillah. They, like even the first competition I mentioned when I got second when I was 9 years old, my whole family came. I'm talking about 12 people with a sign, my name written on it, and that was my first competition. And
That's really a good thing.
I think it's amazing.
Again,
it's very
I was
important.
lucky to have such supportive family, and still I feel very lucky. I know not everybody has this thing. I want to tell them that it's okay, but it will come, you know. Everybody has their chance, and it will come. I was lucky with my family to have that support, and yes, as we go, my mom was the first person to actually go abroad. Like my first international competition was in UAE, Emirates, and my mom was one of the first lady parents to actually travel with the team. After that, other mothers start getting encouraged to join the team. You know, it was not frowned upon, it was just something new. Usually the fathers would travel or nobody would go. So my mom started this new wave of actually encouraging other mothers to travel and see their kids, and with that, a community was grown, a community of support. Other mothers were learning from my mom how to direct their kids, how to teach them to be focused or to be competitive in the right way. So I think it was a very, very good way to build on things.
I think so, and I think that it's really special that your mom did that impact. Do you think so, Fatma?
Of course, I think it's very important for parents to encourage their children in their passion and in their career as well. But I'm sure you had a lot of obstacles throughout your journey, and I think a lot of people usually struggle with obstacles. So how did you overcome your obstacles?
Of course, obstacles only exist if you are going in the right direction. If there's no obstacles, I don't think you're going the right way. You just have to be strong and believe in yourself and the work that you have done. Again, if you are a champion, if you're a successful person, you lean always on the code of ethics that you have. That, you know, if you are honest and disciplined and, you know, have all these things in your pocket and you practice them every time, even if you hit any hiccup, you can actually overcome it. You just have to hang on.
Of course. Yes. I think that's very important, I believe, to actually push through and go for what you have. Your goals sometimes can be hard to achieve, but if you're persistent, you will finally achieve them.
The road to success is definitely not easy. For me to sit here on the couch with you and talk about my achievements, I can only imagine all the times that I have actually raced, practiced all this suffering and pain and sacrifice that I had to do over these past 30 years to be here on this couch to talk about all my achievements since I was 9 until I was 25.
And of course, you are proud of it.
Until I was 37.
Yes, and of course you are proud of it, everything that you went through.
Alhamdulillah. I think as you go on in life, some things might not make sense. Some things might be achieved later on, but what you have to do is believe in yourself and the moment right now and do the work that you have to do. You just have to convince yourself. There's no competitors. I have to say this. There is no competitors. You are the competitor. You know, you are competing against yourself, and that's when everything else disappears.
Of course, I think this is a very important point to actually see yourself and how you did yesterday and become better than you are today. I think this is something you actually have to think about all the time, to actually compete against yourself. A lot of people, sometimes they compete against other people when they should be focusing on themselves,
Definitely.
becoming better than they were yesterday.
Definitely.
I think
But you have to be really nice to yourself.
of course.
You know, you don't tell yourself, I have
Exactly.
to. You don't tell yourself, I have to go to the gym or I have to go swimming right now. And you don't go, you're going to end up feeling very bad. And that's going to pull for another day. So you have to be nice to yourself, you know. Listen to your body. If your body says, I need to relax today, you
need to relax,
yeah.
yes.
Look yourself in the mirror and tell yourself, listen, you're doing very great. Talk to yourself like you're talking to your friend. Most of us, when we talk to ourselves, we are very harsh. Like, you have to do this. You're a loser for not doing that. And that is a big mistake.
It is. And
you
get
have
it
to
back
talk to yourself like you're talking to your dearest friend.
Of course, you always have
Yes.
to talk to yourself in a
Just
positive
be
manner.
very nice.
Yes.
Exactly. And getting back to the subject of swimming, can you tell us about when was the first competition that you had?
1994 in the club competition. Happened in Nadi Kalma Club. And it was an outdoor swimming pool. Back in the day, we used to swim outdoors, yes, even if it was hot. It was very nice, you know. It was one of the big competitions. We had maybe 40, 60 swimmers. It was a very good time for swimming back in the day. But my first international was UAE, the golf competition, when I was 9 years old. I was able to actually get 3 gold medals and 2 silver, and I achieved 3 golf records. My coaches saw that I was excelling very fast, and my times were coming very close to an Asian level, not even Arab. I was skipped Arab, just go to Asian. And in 1995, that's when I went to Sri Lanka, Colombo, for the Asian Championship, and I got 3rd as a 9-year-old. As a kid, it was very hard for you to feel happiness or achieved. You don't know what's going on. You are here to do the race, you know. For me, it was just about fighting and beating the guy next to me. You know, I was swimming next to Kuwaitis, the people that I can say their names. All of a sudden, I was swimming next to people I can't even pronounce their name or even recognize what language is, you know, on
It
the
is
swim
different
cap.
for you.
So it's very interesting to go from swimming with your friends here in Kuwait to actually swimming with a Chinese guy or an Indian guy, or, you know, and in the waiting room, they all speak in different language. As a 9-year-old, that exploded my mind into just wanting to learn every language, what kind of food they eat back home, you know, what kind of rituals they practice. And that definitely set my mind into just being open to people. And that competition, definitely, I got 3rd, as I said, and it started my big international swimming career.
And also, I want to know about your experience. Of course, you had that experience when you were with other people from other countries. Was it good experience for you?
Of course, as a child, it opened my brain that the world is very big. People say the world is very small, but it is very big. You're talking about millions, billions of people everywhere that speak different languages, write differently, not right to left, left to right, up to down, different flags, different spices. So
Different people from different backgrounds and
oh my
different
God,
cultures.
I was taken by this new experience that the world is big and I need to explore it. And that's how I became a big traveler, and I traveled up to 65 countries so far, mostly from swimming, and now I'm just doing it as a hobby. So yeah, I think that competition, as I said, opened my brain and I think changed me chemically inside, like inside my brain, that I became a very curious person to know about all the other people around this big rock.
Thank you so much, Mansour. It was really a pleasure to have you here in Achievements, and hopefully we'll have you more to talk about different achievements and how to improve the sports field.
Would love to. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank
Well,
you.
dear viewers, with that we have reached the end of our time. I hope you enjoyed this episode and see you again tomorrow. Goodbye for now.